The first pistol I ever owned was a Webley Junior, and I still have it. So when I was offered a Webley Typhoon pistol to review, I was definitely interested. Hello and welcome to AAR On Air, and today is Springer Pistol time with a modern version of the Webley Typhoon, and it won't break the bank either. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Stats and walk around first. This tips the scales at between 1.36 and 1.42 kilograms, or between £3 and £3 2 ounces. I say between because that is entirely dependent on whether you weigh it with the supplied barrel extension. Lengthwise, the same applies. It is between approximately 370mm and 460mm long, or 14.5 inches and 18 inches, with or without that barrel extension. So, what is the barrel extension bit? Well, it certainly looks like a silencer, but it isn't. Not unless a piece of hollow tube is going to help quieten it down, which it may well do, but not to any great extent. It is, however, an attachment that slides on the end to aid the cocking of the short 170mm rifled barrel. And it does work very well, in fact. And in doing so, it really doesn't look out of place on this pistol either. Of course, you can cock it without the aid, and naturally takes that little bit more effort, proving Archimedes wasn't just a pretty-faced tanned Greek bloke. Whilst we're at the business end, it's worth taking a second to look at that front open post sight, which has quite an ornate shaped surround. The reason for this is to add structural stability to the extension and to be able to withstand the cocking action repeatedly. The really clever part is that open post, which, like the Spirit of Ecstasy on your Rolls Royce, drops nicely out of sight to prevent it getting damaged, or more importantly, stops you getting damaged when you cock it. Nice thought, though. This sight then mates up with the fully adjustable rear sight, allowing correction for windage and elevation. No fibre optics on this one, but this is a budget item, let's not forget. So if, like me, you struggle a little with open sights, then there is a dovetail rail on the top for an alternative sighting option as well. Starting to sound pretty well thought out, this, isn't it? Now, this is a weighty item, and this is due to the amount of metal in this, because the barrel and the main action is naturally all metal. But below this, it changes to a hard, durable polymer for the rest of the chassis, grip and trigger. It does feel capable of taking quite a few knocks, and yet is comfortable with its shaped grip. The trigger is a two-stage item, with the first stage being easily recognisable and the second stage having a small amount of travel but not too heavy a pull weight. Granted, it isn't a match-grade item, but you're a tough audience if that's what you're looking for in this price range. It has another trick up its sleeve, a recoil system on board. This takes out a fair amount of this Springer kick, which is going to help with the target work a little later. This is, of course, a single shot, but it is pellet and rifled, and as I've already said, and hopefully this too will add to this 177 caliber version's accuracy. This is also available in 2.2 pellet version if you prefer. The safety is a push-through item that is just above and behind the trigger, and is easily operated with thumb and finger on this ambidextrous pistol. Push from right to left for fire and back for safe. There is a defined click and a red indicator on the left hand side. Time to get this over the chronograph then to see what the power output is. Well, I thought I would give it a thorough test to find its favourite food, as it were. And using the lighter 7.33 grain pellets, it saw 467 feet per second, which is 3.55 foot-pounds or 4.87 joules. Next up, 8.44 grain, and it saw 400 feet per second, which is 3 foot-pounds or 4.07 joules. Then the slightly heavier 8.64 BSA pellets, and it saw 377 feet per second, which is 2.73 foot-pounds or 3.7 joules. Finally, on the lead, I used 10.34 grain JSBs, and it saw 355 feet per second, which is 2.89 foot-pounds or 3.92 joules. So, it prefers the lighter pellets. Okay, let's try some alloy pellets, shall we? Well, with the 5.71 grain alloys, it saw 539 feet per second, which is 3.68 foot-pounds or 5 joules. The final results here being this actually prefers alloy pellets, certainly in the power stakes. At this point, it's worth stating that I also shot a 2.2 cal version over the chronograph, and it hated alloy pellets, proving yet again that each gun and sometimes each barrel can have its own likes and dislikes. Time then to get this out on the range to see if it can be accurate with its rifle barrel. 10 metres seems to be a fair distance. Here goes. Webley Typhoon. I think we've got our own Typhoon blowing up out here at the minute, so it's a little unfair, but let's put it to the test. Cheated a little bit, put a red dot on the top, because you can. It's got a rail, which makes it nice and easy. That really is windy. And that's not snow, by the way, that's blossom coming off the trees. Yeah, it is a little windy, but we'll give it a go. 10 metres. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this with, or shoot this rather, with lead, JSBs, and I'm going to put some aluminiums in there as well, because we're likely to have issues with this in the future, so we'll just test them while we're at it. That really is windy. Yeah, I've zeroed the red dot in approximately. I haven't spent all day doing it. I've very quickly done it, shot half a dozen shots. It's the grouping that we're really interested in. So without further ado, let's have a go, shall we? Sun's trying again, let's get on with it. Lead pellets first. That really is windy. Slightly to the right. Ah, that's come in a bit more. That could have been the wind, the first one. It actually feels really nice to shoot. This is under £90 UK. Yeah, alright, you've got to pop a sighting aid on if you want, but you have got adjustable rear for elevation, windage, a front that drops down nicely. It's quite a nice idea, and you can shoot it without if you like. It just makes it a lot easier to actually break and load, or cock rather. Like I said, it's the grouping that we're interested in. And that's not bad. Not on a day like this. And I tell you what, that does make life so much easier. So much easier. Oh, come on, 90 quid. And look at that on a day like this. Nah, I've gone off a little bit, but it is windy, come on. Last one. Let's go and have a look. Alloy pellets then this time. Target's out, same 10 metres. It's in the shade, so don't think it's been shot on another day. It's definitely down there. And windy still, which probably going to affect the alloy pellets even more. It doesn't like those. It's fired down slightly. Just gonna nothing wrong with that one. It's not overly fligged with them. The only thing that I would say is with the alloys, because the skirts on them are a little bit harder than they are on the lead, so it's not liking them quite as much in the barrel, but once they're out the barrel and shooting down range, it seems to like them enough. Just helping it down this time. Strange one. Doesn't like the skirts on the alloys. I can't really see how it's grouping. And what I'm doing is I'm just giving them a bit of a prod further down the barrel. Let's have a look, shall we? Webley Typhoon then. With lead, it was starting to get quite a nice group there, out at 10 metres. With the alloys, it was actually grouping probably that little bit tighter, predominantly, once you got going. But it didn't like the alloys when they were first going into the barrel. You need a bit of a dibber or something to actually get them in. I think it's probably down to the fact that, say, the skirt on the aluminium pellets is that little bit harder than it is on lead. This could probably do with a little bit more power to actually drive it through that bit better. But nonetheless, reasonable accuracy with the alloys. The lead, on a calmer day, I think this will prove itself to be a proper little accurate pistol. And don't forget, it's less than £90 UK. It's accurate enough to shoot. You've got that kickback, which does actually make it quite comfortable, which may have been a problem because I was using it on there rather than freehand. Nice. Not a bad gun at all. Really good starter gun. Yeah, back to the studio. Do you know what? Just for old time's sake, excuse me, I'm going to have another go. It's serious now. Let's go and have a look. No, that's not bad at all. It's still windy. That's the only second time really, or second occasion I've sat down and gone through with that gun. Yeah, that is capable. That, for the money, is really rather capable. Nice one. Nice one. Back to the studio. This time for real, no more encores. Well, not bad at all really. That recoil system does seem to work and help. It isn't what I would call a competition target gun, out and thorough, but at the price of under £90 UK, it would be unfair to think it should be. But for plinking and back garden fun, it is more than accurate enough for some great fun. Of course, it doesn't need CO2s or a pump or a tank either in that price. This is really starting price level and not a bad first gun for someone at all. And perhaps something to bring the supervised younger members of the family into the sport. This is certainly one of those how do they do it for that price items and could be classed as a throwaway price. But you know what? It's likely to last you for years and years. Again, a Springer has put a smile on my face. I've enjoyed this one. Hopefully you have too. If you have, please give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, click the old alarm bell. Don't forget to check out the new news channel. The link is here. There are the usual forums and chats, and there's the AAR on air, I can't even speak, merchandise. A big thank you to Vector Air for getting hold of this for me to review. And of course, above all, a big thank you to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. And thank you to the guys for clicking the super thanks. It all helps, excuse me, it all helps to keep the channel working. Stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye for now.